But not only is he for them, he is like them. But let me explain that before, because it sounds kind of weird and I think I might get fired if I don't explain that. And so let me explain what it means that he is like us, because I think some of us might be thinking, what? Jesus is like us? But we're so messed up. We make all these mistakes. And, these shepherds were described as violent and they skip church. And, Jesus is like that? Well, not quite. What I mean is this. And I'll start with this proverb. Proverb 14:10. It says this. The heart knows its own bitterness, and no stranger shares its joy. When we think about that Sesame Street thing, I want to say this. We are all a little bit different. And that's not good or bad. It just depends on the category. But what we get in Proverbs 14:10 is an interesting tidbit of wisdom. We can't truly know what others are going through. We can't step into the joys of a person that we don't know at all, right? We might see somebody struggling with math, and maybe you struggled with math, but their struggle isn't going to be identical to yours. And if you try to generalize your experience, you're probably going to have a bad time interacting with them. Just like how you see somebody, if you see somebody get engaged and it's like your friend you're going to celebrate with them. But if you just see someone getting engaged, you're just kind of like, oh, nice, right? The point of connection matters, whether you know them or not. But the truth is, all of us are a little bit different. All of us, in one category or another, can't really know another person intimately in that way. We can't truly know the struggles of one another in a way that we can walk through it. You see, God made us special. He made us ready for connection with Him and with others. But somewhere along the line in life, that gets messed up. Whether that is we begin to lie, or we are lied to, and that trust breaks. Or maybe somebody wrongs us, they talk behind your back, and you're kind of like, oh, well, I think less of them now. Or maybe somebody fails to do something that you think, they didn't wish you a happy birthday, and you're just like, I don't really mind, but I do mind, and I'll remember that for their birthday, right? When it comes down to it, a lot of us, we experience those wrongs and those sins, and we kind of store those things up. We call that sin. And the feeling of difference and unbelonging at some point in our life, if you've felt that, then you have felt the sting of being an outsider. And this is a shame, because God has wired us for connection, for deep connection, to love one another. But oftentimes, because we can't really know the sorrows of others, we fall short. And that's why it's good news. It's good news that Jesus is like us. As Hebrews 2:14-15 points out, Jesus came not only to be with us, but to be like us, so that his death would break the power of death and free us from slavery and separation and fear of death. You see, it's important that Jesus is like the shepherds. It's important that Jesus is like us. He is human, completely human, fully human. And that is good news, because it means that he isn't sitting in heaven judging us. It means that he walked the earth to live with us. He knows what it's like to be tempted. He knows what it's like to struggle. He knows when we are weak, and loves us still, and walked for us still, and teaches us still, and guides us still. This is good news. I remember hearing this story growing up about this farmer who, during a storm one night, he went to his barn and he noticed that there were a lot of crows or a lot of birds that had flown in to hide in the barn because of the coming storm. And as he went into the barn, all the birds started panicking. They just started screaming and flying around, pooing everywhere. And he was trying to calm them down, but how does a farmer calm down birds? How would you calm down birds? Give them seeds? Yeah, maybe you give them seeds. I imagined him going into the barn with his hands up. I don't know why. But he had this thought, and he was like, if only I could just be a bird and talk to them. Just tell them it's going to be okay. The storm will pass. You can stay here. You can panic. That big man down there, he means you no harm. If only I could be a bird and just talk to them. And then that farmer realized, oh, isn't that what God has done for us? That he became flesh. He became Jesus. He became human so that we could know that he is like us, that he is for us, that he is with us.